Hello everyone. Many of us we are facing issues with the virtual box and how to extract it and how to install that. So I'm going to give you a small demonstration how to do that from beginning to the until the final assignments. So let's open the Open Learner LK and then we go to the software industry. So once you go to the software industry and go to the preparation hands-on assignments, this is where we find the instruction of all the virtual things. Now, when I go to the assignments here, the first thing that we want to know which version of VirtualBox that it's fit for our Windows. There are several versions, by the way. First of all, you should know that you have to come. I would like to come from the bottom or either. Some of us is still using Windows 32-bit operating system. That is very obsolete. I mean, a long time ago, it's already discontinued by Microsoft. But still, some people are using it. Those people they can download the VirtualBox, which is 5.2.44 versions here. But I never tried this one. But you can try it at your own and let us know whether it's working. For the other people, the people who are using Windows 7 and Windows 8, they can download the version 6.0.24, and which I have tried already with many other brothers, and it's working fine. So make sure that if you have a Windows 7 and 8, please don't download the highest version. It will give you a lot of issues. Now, if you are using a Windows 10 and 11, you download the 6.1.40. That is a stable version already. But there are other higher versions as well. But if you want, just try it. You just go to the site and download the any higher version that you want to try it. Try it. But I prefer to use this one. Okay, so I will show you that how to find the Windows a bit, what type of Windows that you're using, whether it's a 32-bit or 64-bit. Let's see that. I open my computer here, this PC, and then I'm going to right click on the PC and click Properties. By going to the Properties, you know that the system type which is displaying operating system versions, which is 64-bit operating system and x66 based processor. I mean, my processor is also 64-bit processor. So this is clearly showing that what version of operating system we are using, but what bit is that, and the edition is showing you a Windows 11 Home. So my demonstration will based on this operating system. Fine. So now let's go and download a version that I'm going to download the Windows 11, 10 and 11 version. So I'm clicking that. See, most of them, but they are doing it. They are copying the link and executing it, like copying like this way and executing it. So the time you do that, there are a lot of chances that you make a mistake by copying the full stop at the end. So the best way is right click on that and open the link in the new tab. That is the easiest way. Open that. Anyhow, I have a special software here, download manager, that's starting here. I'm going to start downloading it. So it's downloading it here. But for you, you will have it. It will prompt you in a Google Chrome or Firefox or whatever it is. And some of them you might have issues here when you use Microsoft browser, something like this. It might ask you this file can harm you or something like that. So you just say keep the file, or if you don't want, just discard it. But I'm using the Google Chrome, it's not asking me any questions. I'm going to download this. Anyhow, so we cannot wait all the time. We cannot wait until it's download. So I'm going to pause it and cancel because I already downloaded it. So I'm going to use that for the demonstration. So now in the downloaded folder, I have a virtual box. I hope that I have it. Let's go under the programs, VirtualBox 6.1.40. So I'm going to install that. Let's minimize this. Okay. So I'm going to press next. And these are the things going to happen now. It's going to install the USB support and networking, like it's going to install the bridge network and some additional things are there. I'm going to press next and next. Now it's giving a warning message saying that it's going to create the bridge network on your PC, just to inform you that it's going to do. So proceed with installation now. Press yes. Install. It says that it might this may take several minutes, but it's dependent on your PC. It's done. So I'm going to start my Oracle VirtualBox. Great. So we did it now. And click the help and click the about VirtualBox to see the version of the VirtualBox. So we are using now 6.1, the version 6.1.40, and there are revision numbers. So it's very clear for us that we completed the installation of this. Now let's go to the LMS back again to see that what we have to do next. So these are the procedures that's given by the lectures, and it's very clear. We go through the same steps that we followed now, and then after that they're asking us to download the Debian Bullseye server image. So again, the same thing, don't copy and paste it, right click and then open link in a new tab. And it's starting here since I have a download manager, but I'm not going to download that because it will take around 25 minutes according to my internet speed. So I'm going to pause it because I already downloaded it last night. So I'm going to stop that now. Then I'll show you why it's downloaded. It's in the download folder under compressed. This is the one, Debian Bullseye, the name. Now, most of us, we are facing issues that we have access denied and we cannot save the settings, and so many issues because all of you, what you did, most of them, they extract this file under SQL and program files, Oracle and VirtualBox. But I strongly recommend you don't place it there. You place it in somewhere else, either if you have a D drive or E drive, any other drives, better you place it. The reason is, if you place it in the program files, you have a security issues. Microsoft is protecting most of the times, protecting the Windows folder, program files folder, and program files x86. So when you place your things inside that, it needs administrative privilege to continue the work. So in order to avoid this kind of situations, you better create a folder in a D drive or E drive. Let's say you don't have a D or E, so create a folder in the C drive. So I'm going to say that I'm going to create a folder in my C drive saying that my server image. So now I'm planning to extract my Debian Bullseye zip file into this folder. So again, I'm telling you, C drive, my server image. Okay, I'm copying this folder. Now go back to the download folder and under the compressed, I mean, wherever you save your file, I'm going to extract it. And some of you might have these applications like WinR, WinZip, and some other applications, but I'm not going to use that. You can use that, no harm at all. But I'm going to use the normal Windows default extractor. So I'm going to choose the extract all. So the screen appears here. So I don't want to extract on this folder. I'm going to extract it, the folder that I created just before a minute ago. So my server image on the C drive. Okay, select folder. So now it's very clear that you are going to extract it on the C column, my server images in a folder, not in the C drive, program files, Oracle and VirtualBox. But see, I'm not stopping you to extract it there, but if you extract it there, you might have a lot of issues like access denied, and you don't have permission, or you have to run with administrative privileges. So better to avoid that. Since we are learning, starting of learning these things, it's better to extract in a place that is easier for us to access. So extract now. It's extracting. Okay, nice. So it's opening the extracted folder for us just to see. So I'm I'm double clicking the Debian Bullseye. I found two folders and three files. There is a mechanism that you can double click this file in the blue color icon and open it, but I still better don't do this one. Go to the virtual box and add it. So we are very clear now. We extract the file that we downloaded into a C colon my server images under Debian Bullseye. Right. So let's open the virtual box. Okay, it's already opened. I'm going to add it. Sometimes if we have a multiple servers that you had it already, you will not see the add button in the right side. So you have to click the machine and add. So this add and this add is the same exactly. So I'm going to add it now. So now we have to browse the extracted image. So where did I extract it? In the C drive, my server images, Debian Bullseye, and the blue color icon appears here, Debian Bullseye, and open it. Right. So we added so far. So now what are the remaining things that we want to have a look at it here? See, by default, it's allocating 1 GB of RAM from my Windows system, and there are some additional things that I cannot see it here. Now, if you run this one, definitely you will have a network issue because the time they compile, when they take the image, they are using their network card. So the system will not identify your network card until you change it back. But anyhow, I just want to run it now to show you what type of errors you might face. So I'm going to start now. Right. So we faced the first issue that saying that could not start the machine Debian Bullseye because of the following physical network interface were not found. Wireless LAN 0, adapter 1. So the time the professor created the image, he was using a wireless LAN 0 adapter, and which is not available with us. We have a different one, but it's even though our network card is selected by default, it won't run unless you let the Windows to know that you're using the right one. So in order to do that, I just close the virtual machine. You can change it in that window itself, but I don't want to do that. I go to the setting, I close the virtual machine and I click the setting here and go to the network and see this is the thing that they are using a network adapter. The name is Intel Wi-Fi. Actually, this is the right one that you are going to use it, but it's still giving you error. By default, this is selected, but Windows is still not realize it that we are using the right one. So in order to do that, either you choose a wrong one and say okay, and then come back to the same setting and go to the network and choose the right one. This is one way. There is another way. Some people they might get only one option here, so those people cannot choose the wrong one. To force the Windows to do that, just choose anything on the attached to. Instead of choosing the right one, choose the wrong one. I'm not saying it's wrong, but there is a way to do that as well. But for the meantime, use the net and save it okay, and click next setting. Go to the network and go and choose the bridge adapter and choose the first one. That is your physical network. So click OK. It will be changing. So in addition to that, I want to let you know that some people they face kernel issues and other things. To avoid that, go to the setting back again and in the system, this time in the system, and see the virtual machine allocating 1 GB RAM from your PC. Now I have currently 16 GB on my system, so I'm going to allocate around 4 GB. But it's not necessary to be 4 GB either. You can say 2 GB, 1.5 GB, 2.5 GB is fine, but I'm going to allocate 4. And I go to the processor count and I have a 16 CPUs, 16 logical CPUs. I have a 8 cores since I'm using the i7 PC. My cores are 8, but 8 cores divided into 16 logical CPUs. So I'm going to use 2 CPUs. It's not necessary to choose 2, but I'm going to choose that. Okay, then I'm starting the virtual machine. Oh, great! It looks like that's it's working. So I'm going to minimize this. We don't need that anymore. Okay, it's started. Now it's asking for the login ID. The login ID, as we know, that's root, and the password is the reverse of that. Two, it's loaded. Right. So the next step now, we should know that what is the IP address that is allocated for the Debian Bullseye server. So how to find that? We have a command called ifconfig space minus a, and when you press enter, you can see that the result. But you can see before that inet 192.168.1.12, because I cannot highlight it here. So I'm planning to show you by a different program. The Snagit editor. Yes. So this is a Snagit editor actually. It's a third-party software. I'm using it to take a print screen of my virtual machine to show you that where is the IP address. See in this area, this is the IP address. INET 192.168.1.12. So in my case, according to my internet router, I'm getting this IP address. But in your case, you might get a different one. But always remember something: the IP address, they are divided into a network ID and the IP. So the first network ID is 192.168. These two segments are reserved for network ID since it's a private IP address. So the last two blocks, like 1.12, you might get 40, 42, 45, or a 1.10 or 1.15, 1.25. So you note that IP address because we are going to use that IP address for the future works. Right. And then let's say you started a PC but you cannot see the IP address. That means you have an issue with the network card. I mean, some people, they're choosing some settings. It won't give you an error message, but you will not get the IP address. In that case, what do you have to do? You have to simply close the virtual machine, and go to the setting. I mean, I'll show it to you here. Uh, I'm going to pin it on my taskbar, so it's much easier for me. I think this is the one. Right. So you go to the setting here and then modify the text network card. So modify it again, but reboot it. But make sure that you are closing the virtual machine. Huh? You have to close it like I'm going to say now. Power off the machine. Okay. So it's closing now. And then go to the setting, go to the network and choose the appropriate one. Mostly you have to choose the bridge adapter and choose the first one. So that will solve the issue. Now I'm starting again because we need to run the servers to do the rest of the work. Right. Now let's go. So we installed the virtual machine and we download the image of the server. We extracted it, we attached it and changed the network card. So right now they ask us to, I mean the old activity assignments given to us. We have to take the screen of that. So you just go through the assignment things and you submit the thing. Now let's see the final assignment that's given to us. Okay. One more thing that, so now we know that the IP address by typing ifconfig minus a, then you know the IP addresses. Now they want us to make sure that we are able to ping, we can ping the host machine. That means from the Debian Bullseye server, whether you can ping your Windows machine. And the other way around, you have to ping the Windows machine, Debian Bullseye server from the Windows machine. Let's do the simple part first. So I'm going to open the command prompt here, Windows command prompt. And now we know that the virtual machine's IP address is 192.168.1.12. So I'm going to ping from here, ping 192.168.1.12, and I'm getting a reply. Right. So we are getting four replies. Actually, in the Windows machine, if you ping, it's sending four packets to the server and getting the result. So packed, sent for, received for. So the lost is 0%. So we are not losing anything. We have a successful communication. So this is ensuring that we have a connectivity to the Debian Bullseye. Right, I'm going to close this now. Okay, let's go to the server again. Now, the second part, to make sure that whether we can ping the Windows machine, we should know the IP address of the Windows machine. How to get that? So I will tell you the easiest way to get that by the command prompt. So go to the run environment and go to the command. Now the command is, which is very similar to the command that we used in the Linux, but here we call it ipconfig ipconfig/all. And once I run the ipconfig/all, I got so many messages. I did not know which one is my IP address. It's very simple. First thing is that my host name, computer name, and other things. But second thing, that Ethernet adapter Ethernet, the media is disconnected. So actually our internet connection is connected either by a cable or a Wi-Fi. But if the media is disconnected, we don't need to worry about that. Go to the next one. That is a virtual host only adapter. It's not the physical adapter. We are looking for the physical adapter. Now the third one is also media disconnected. Fourth one is media disconnected. And fifth one and the last one is, it's not, in my case, I get the last one, but for you, maybe it could be the second one or third one. You see that Intel R Wi-Fi 6 AX201 160 megahertz. If you go to the virtual machine and you go to the setting, go to the network card, you find the same name exactly, Intel R Wi-Fi 6. Wi-Fi, say exactly the same name. So we have to get the IP address of this. The IP address here, say that IP version 4 address, which is 192.168.1.2 in my PC. Okay, so I'm going to get this one. I'm going to copy this, edit, and I'm going to copy this, or just remember it. It's not necessary to copy it. Now go to the Debian Bullseye server and type ping and paste it. Oh, I don't think so. Okay, type it. Ping 192. On the number 192.168.1.2. It's pinging, but there's no reply. The reason is in my Windows PC, I have a firewall which is blocking the ping request, so you cannot ping it. But you can ask why that we were able to ping the Debian server, because in the Debian server, firewall default state is disabled, so it's not, nothing is blocking us. That's why we were able to ping it. So now what we have to do in order to ping, we have to disable the firewall in Windows system. So again, I'm going to the start and then say the control panel. Okay, I go to the control panel and then I go down and go to the Windows Defender firewall. Now I'm going to turn Windows Defender firewall on or off. I'm going to this option. I'm going to turn off the public network setting. I turn it off and say OK. So the moment I say OK, it's pinging now here. You notice that? The Debian server, we have a reply from the pinging. And one very important thing here, it's when you ping in Windows machine, let's say I'm going to ping to show you the differences here. I'm going to ping 192.168.1.12. I'm pinging the Debian server in the Windows. It's pinging 1, 2, 3, and 4 and stop. But in the Debian server, if you ping any PC, either it's a PC or a website or anything, it will never stop until you break the command. So how to terminate the command? You have to go to the Debian server and press Ctrl+C. Don't wait until it stops. It never stops. It will keep on pinking it. So you have to press Ctrl C to terminate the command. So, so for the moment we completed ping from both PC. I mean from Debian server to the Windows system, from Windows system to the Debian server. It's pinging fine. So we completed all the assignment except the last one. Now let's move to the assignment that we want to do. Right. So I'm going to the final assignment that's given to us. Assignment on assignment proper. Sorry, hands-on assignment proper. Okay. Now I'm going there. So first of all, he's asking us to do this one to test the Apache to Debian default page. So how to get the default page? I have to go to I open a tab and type the IP address of the Debian Bullseye server. So the IP address of the Debian, in my case, in my PC is 192.168.1.12 is the IP address of the Debian. So when I press enter, we get that. Great. So it's working until this exercise. Right. So we did it. The second things that he's asking us, uh, he won't see the test.html file. He want to see that what is the content of that is displaying it here. So now we don't need a command prompt anymore. I'm going to close that. And then what else? Okay, so these two only we need it. Debian Bullseye server and the browser for us to guide and to test our result. Right. So now they are saying that there's a command. First of all, is going through this three folders. A folder called var and www.html. So I'm going to clear the screen now. Clear. To travel through the folders, we have to type cd space /var /www/html. Now you are inside the HTML folder. Now to show the list of files and folders inside that, you have to press the ls command. Ls. Everything is simple, okay? ls. So now you see only three files: index.html, Moodle folder, and phpinfo.php. So according to the instruction given to us, there is a test HTML, but it's not available here. Actually, maybe he was testing with this file, but unfortunately we don't have this file. So what we have to do now is much better to create it, because if we choose head20 index.html, there's nothing to show. The file is not there. So I'm going to do now to create test.html. Anyhow, I believe that you are using the same image that I downloaded from LMS. So definitely you will not find this file. So in order to create this file, we have to use a command called nano, N-A-N-O space test.html, and press enter. So it's a editor. Here you can create your own HTML file. So I'm going to create this test file now. So go down. This is actually this is the file, but we will go to a nice look. This is the easiest look with the colorful. So we are going to create exactly the same file. So I'm going to type now HTML and then close. So it's the same color, and head and then close. I'm going to create the body. So we are creating a head one. Just a simple test page. I'm closing the header one tag, and I'm creating a paragraph tag saying that this is my sample paragraph. I'm going to close also the paragraph tag, and he's creating an address tag. Address first test server address, and I'm closing the body tag, and then closing the finally the HTML tag. So we created this file. Actually, they believe that this file is existing, but it's not there. So we are going to create it. Now, after you create it, it's still in the editor, in the memory. So to save this file, you have to write out. So the shortcuts are described in the bottom of the screen, right? G for control, G for help, control X for exit, control O for write out, control R for read file. So I'm going to write out now. So I'm going to press control O. It's saying that file name to write test.html. So I don't want to change it. Just press enter. The file is saved now. So I'm going to exit this file. Control X to exit the file. I'm exited already. So I'm going to just clear the screen because I don't want to see unnecessary things as of now. So I cleared the screen now. You created the test.html. How to see the test.html? Let's open a new tab and enter the IP address 192.168.1.12 slash test.html and enter it. Great. We can see the test.html that we created just now. Let's say we want to add additional 2 more lines to this. Okay, let's go back to the Debian Bullseye server and edit the file. In order to issue the command that we used previously, just press the up arrow key. Clear command that I used at last. Press one more time, nano test.html. Press one more time, ls. So I just go back. I press the down arrow key to bring back to the nano.html and press enter. This is what I wrote. So I'm going to put another paragraph here just to make sure that our editing is working fine. This is my second paragraph. Okay. Now we have to write out. So Control O to write out. The same name, press enter and come to this page. You don't need to close the file actually. Come to this page and refresh. We get the second paragraph. So in case if you want to add some additional things, go on, keep on adding on it. Fine. So this is done. So I'm going to exit also from this window because we are not going to work on the test HTML anymore. Exit. And I'm going to clear the screen because I feel very easy when I clear the screen. I clear the screen. So the 2 things we completed now. First thing, we ping this default web page and we go through, we traverse this folder, and then we did not find the test.html, so we created the test.html, and then we enter the code here and we save it and we preview it. So the preview will be looks like this, just a simple test page, but we create also the same thing, just a simple test page, but we modify. So these things are done. So the third thing that we have to do, they're asking us to open a php info.php file. So let's have a look at this here, whether this file is available. So you all remember the command that I use, ls, and press ls. There is a one file. First is now index.html, second is a Moodle folder, third is a php info.php, fourth is the test.html. So php info.php is available. So I'm going to open a new tab because I'm just keeping it for the history to show you later. So I'm going to use a 192.168.1.12 and then a php info.php file. Press enter. It's loading fine. Great. So we did that as well. Now, so let's move to the next step. The next step that is telling that to open a Moodle by using this form, I mean http:// IP address, which is in my case 192.168.1.12/Moodle. But many of us, we face a lot of issue here. So let's try anyhow. 192.168.1.12/Moodle. This is what they are asking us to go. So now when I enter, just focus on the IP address. The currently, but we enter is 192.168.1.12/Moodle, right? It's trying to browse the file. We have a connectivity. We did all these 3 tasks. Everything is fine. But when I go to the Moodle page, it's not accessing. It's not accessible. See, immediately it's return you a different IP address that we never entered that 192.168.178.27/Moodle. This is because this IP address was used by a professor during his demonstration. I mean, during his test environment. But if we feel that something is doing some changes on the background. I mean, we enter the right IP address/Moodle, but it's giving you a different response. So later on, I noticed that that is the file. We have to go now. Okay, we will go back to the server and I will open a Moodle folder. So I'm going to open cd Moodle. So I'm going inside the Moodle folder. I went there. Now let us see the number of files or the list of the files. I'm going to say ls. There are so many files actually. There's one file called config.php. Config.php. This one is the one keeping all the configurations which is related to the Moodle. So there is some issues in the config.php file. So let's go and edit this file or view this file. But I prefer we'll go in edit window. And if it is something is required to change, we will change it. Otherwise, we don't need to change that. So I'm going to use the nano command again. So nano space config.php and I press enter. So it's nice, very colorful, it's very easy to understand. So we go all this way and then we go down and we get down here. You see that CFG, I'm highlighting this line. www root is equal to http 192.168.178.27. This is exactly what we got in the browser. So now the professor advised us to go and change this one, change to the IP address that you get from ifconfig space -a. Because in my case now it's 192.168.1.12. But in your case, it will be the IP address that you get from the ifconfig command. So make sure that you are entering the right IP address. Don't just copy my IP address and put it there, it won't work. Okay, so now after we modify this file, you have to write out. So I'm going to use Ctrl O and I'm going to press enter. I save it now. Now I go back to the tab. I don't need this tab. I'm going to close it. I'm going to get a new one. 192.168.1.12/Moodle and I enter it. Oh great, it's working fine. Because of this configuration in the server, it was configured in the test environment IP address. So what we have to do, we are required to change to the IP address that we get. So we change it now, it's working fine. Okay, let me log into the system. I log in. So as advised by the professor, the username is admin and the password is admin2. I'm going to log in. Beautiful. We logged into the system. So the Moodle is working now finally. By configuring only one thing, which is IP address, www root IP address, we replace it with the test environment IP to the IP that you get it from the server. Now, let's go back and see. So it's working fine. We log into that, and you're also doing the same thing. But here, the professor is showing that listing all the folders only. But anyhow, you can, if you like, if you want to try these things. Second thing that he's asking us to change the theme of the PHP from Boost theme to the classic theme. But when we go to that's also it's an entry in the config file, but I don't see any theme related configuration here. But for me, I cannot see that. I don't know whether you can see it because the file is only a few lines. I cannot see the file. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create one configuration line to create a theme configuration. So you have to follow the same methods like a CFG, this one, and then what do you call it, theme. So you just follow it's a case. The case is very important. Then I'm going to say theme is equal to boost. So let's create the default one and we will save it. So I'm going to write out now. I modified it now, right? The theme, I created a theme now, which is boost, because professor wants us to change it from boost to classic, but I'm going to create a boost first and we will refresh the page that we created. I mean, the Moodle page. Then we will change it later on to the classic and we will refresh it again. So I created the boost theme. Then Ctrl O to write out and press enter. So the file is saved. Come to this dashboard and refresh this dashboard, or press the Shift F5 to force the refresh. Still the same. So I think maybe by default the PHP is taking the boost one. So now what I'm going to do, let's change, go to this file again and change to the classic option. So instead of boost, I'm going to choose the classic option. Classic. Classic. Okay, fine. I'm going to write out now. Control O and press enter. I save it. But now I'm not going to refresh this. I'm going to create another one. I'm going to create another tab. I mean, open another tab and going to paste these things. And we will see why. Because if I refresh that, you cannot compare it. So I create a new one. So this is the boost theme. It's like it's rectangular shapes and everything. But here, when I do it, it's like a menu type, like drop downs when I click and click and click. So it worked fine. So this is the last thing that we have to do. And again, okay, so now I don't need this instruction anymore because we completed all of them. But I prefer you to take this print screen. I mean, you don't need to make this big, make it a small size of a screen, and submit this one as a copy. Take a screenshot of this and submit it. But when you take the screenshot, it's much better to show your IP address as well, because they know that very clearly that it's from your PC. Otherwise, if you display only this area, they don't know whether they are copying it or not. I mean, it's much better to do that. The second thing, that the just simple test page, but don't take the complete page. Just make it small because the content of the page is very small. So just take it like this and take a print screen. For this PHP, this is not enough actually to make it a little higher and display that. Submit that also, and the boost theme also submit it, and the classic theme submit that. In addition to that, if we want to also submit the config file that you are editing it, so why after you edited it, submit it to him. And one more thing, that if you want to submit the test.html in the edit window, submit that as well. So I'm going to show you the test window again. So I'm going to quit from here. I'm going to say Control X. I'm going to clear the window. So how to go to the test.html? Nano test.html and press enter. Oh really? What happened? Okay, the test.html is not in this folder. I'm so sorry for that. The test.html not under the Moodle, it's under the HTML. So I have to go back one folder. So I have to say a CD. It went all out. I have no idea how to go back to one folder. So I'm going to say CD /var /www /html. Then here, nano test.html and press enter. This is your file. So take a print screen of that and also display, submit it to them. I'm going to quit that. Then if we say cd Moodle and then nano config.php, I think. Great. So submit that also. That's it. So if you have any issues, please contact me. I can help you. And that's it. Let's wind up. Thank you.